I remember in senior year, it was finally lunchtime. This was one of the best parts of our school day because we didn't have to do any questions, putting up with annoying teachers, making us do meaningless work. We actually got to do stuff that we enjoyed. And we had this massive, massive field in our school where the boys would be playing footy, soccer, handball, whatever. And I would once again be just sitting on the bench on the side on my phone doing nothing. I'd be looking at my boys, they'd be having fun, they'd be sweating, they'd be playfully having banter towards their opponents. They were really enjoying themselves and I really did want to join them. I did want to have some fun as well. I didn't want to be the lone loser sitting on the side doing nothing on his phone. You know, I was being that nerd video game loser that I actually was, but I actually was a loser who played video games, but I wanted to play the sport. But I was always scared to ask because I was never really any good at sports. I never really played it growing up. I was more of a video game type of guy and I didn't want to embarrass myself. So I stopped myself from having that fun because of that embarrassment. At the time, I never really thought much of it. I just kind of pushed the thought away and moved on with my life until I started to go to the gym, and the same fear that I described earlier came back once again. This time I was scared because I thought people would judge me because I wasn't lifting super heavy. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I'm a big guy. I might be skinny fat, but you know, I got a big frame on me, wide shoulders, I was super tall, so I kind of had a reputation, so to speak, to hold up. And I felt that when I went to the gym, everyone would see me doing this small ass, you know, like 30-kilogram bench, and I'd be embarrassing myself in front of everybody. I'd feel like a loser, I'd feel like I was a failure to my bloodline, you know, that type of stuff. And that stopped me for a long time going to the gym. I would really only go with my boys. You know, I had that security of I have my mate with me, so I don't need to really be scared of anybody. And guess what? Just a couple months later, this same fear would manifest once again. I was at uni and there was this one girl that I really wanted to talk to who was in my class. I thought she was attractive and stuff, and I could kind of tell she liked me. I couldn't really tell. It was kind of like one of those iffy, maybe not, but it felt as if she was waiting, you know. She was like, and I was scared of rejection. I was scared that she was gonna judge me. I was scared that she was gonna think I'm a loser and then tell everybody, and everyone's gonna laugh at me, and I'm gonna drop out of uni. I'm gonna you know, irrational fears just going through my mind. And that fear stopped me from talking to her, even though I really wanted to. I genuinely did, but I didn't. 3 stories where I was scared to do something and I let that fear stop me from pursuing that. Let's think about that deeper, right? Imagine if I wasn't scared to play sports. I actually went in, even though I was scared, I went and I played the sport anyway. And I embarrassed myself in front of everybody. But after playing for a couple weeks, I finally started to get a little good. I started to realize how to throw the ball properly, how to catch the ball properly, how to make proper plays and proper decisions in the moment. Sure, in the beginning, I was terrified and I was embarrassing myself. But in the end, I would have ended up with months and months of awesome memories to look back on. Months of them. If I wasn't scared to go to the gym, I wasn't afraid to embarrass myself and show everyone how weak I was, even though they didn't really care. But nonetheless, if I wasn't afraid to show them that I was so weak, how much more progress would I have made? I literally wasted months and months, possibly years, of not going to the gym just from this one fear. How much more progress would I have made? I would have eventually become strong enough, right? Now I'm impressing everyone with how much weight I'm benching instead of being, shying away and being embarrassed by it. If I wasn't scared of rejection and I pushed past that fear of embarrassment and I talked to that girl, sure, maybe we did end up working out or something, we weren't compatible, but what if we were? And it ended up being the start of something. Something I've slowly realized is you're always going to be scared no matter what. Whatever it is that you want to do, if it's something new especially, you're always going to have that fear in the back of your mind. Even after you do it all the time, you can eliminate that fear. Sure, you can silence it down, you can be super confident in yourself, but even if you were a little scared, if you're a little anxious, that's completely normal. If that anxiety is an element of fear in the back of your mind, no matter what you do, you may as well just pursue it anyway. Doesn't matter how many books you read, how many YouTube videos you watch on a certain subject, you're always going to have some sort of fear. Those things might help diminish the fear, and that's awesome, but you're still going to have that fear, and you're only going to be able to get over that fear if you take the action. Playing the sport and embarrassing yourself, going to the gym embarrassing yourself, talking to that girl embarrassing yourself. That fear will always be there. Why not just take the action anyway if that fear is always going to be there? Because you want to know the truth. These moments where you fear something but you take the action anyway, that's how you grow. I wasn't going to grow from sitting on the sidelines, not playing the sport. I was going to grow from playing the sport and building my motor skills and being able to communicate clearly in high intense situations and whatever. I was only going to grow, literally grow from going to the gym and literally growing the muscle, but also building that confidence inside and that self-esteem. You're only going to grow if you take that fear, if you take that leap of faith. And most of the time, that fear that you feel is pretty overplayed anyway. Our minds love to over-exaggerate these fears so that we don't take that leap of faith, so that we stay the same. When the reality is that fear is pretty minuscule anyway. And as soon as you take that action, you realize, was that it? No one even looked my way in the gym. No one even really mentioned it after we headed back to the classroom, how crap I was at the sport. The girl ended up being super nice and she was taken anyway. What was there to be afraid of? And look, I'm guilty as well sometimes. I'll have irrational fears and I succumb to them. I'm learning as well. I'm just trying to teach you that I try my best every day to overcome those fears, and every single time that I do overcome that fear successfully, I am reminded of this lesson that I shouldn't let the fear hold me back, because it's only an opportunity of growth. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain every time you overcome that fear. I'm reminded of that lesson every single time. You're gonna have that fear, so just do it anyway.